Unfortunately, an auger is not possible to use. We tried that. If you look behind, there are two, and it simply does not work deeper than maybe 15 centimeters. So we have to dig. But that still works. Here where the irrigation runs, the soil is moister. It's moist for a little bit deeper. But below that, so we are trying to go to 70 centimeters, it is still like concrete. I should probably explain what we are doing. So this used to be an animal lane, and it will be one again. And this is a little bit more than 4 meters wide. This is the same width as there between the two gates. The gates are 4 meters, and therefore you can use them as some sort of a lock. So you open them both, and then the path is from right to left instead of from up there to here. And so we are setting these fence posts. There where the irrigation runs, right here, since a few days, the soil is definitely a lot moister, and therefore this is a lot easier. But we can't still use the auger. It's impossible, because we are looking for 70 centimeters, and from some 40 centimeters it becomes dry. And therefore the auger will not go in there, because dry means it's like concrete. But it's working. And as you can see, we do this at a very late afternoon. The sun is already below the horizon, so there's no sun left. But it's still light, so it's just perfect, and it's cool now. And it works because Ragnar over there, he is from Germany, he's a traveling carpenter, stays here, and therefore we can do these things very easily, and there's a lot of fun. And the idea is that right here there will be a gate, a main gate, so that the person can go in there. It will be of this metal kind that we have there to the left. And the purpose for all this is that on the left side, eventually, there should be geese between the trees. And the geese will then also take advantage of the grasses and help to grow grasses. And this house we will move tomorrow somewhere down there, so that has a better place. And the fence here will be of the 4-pick type, so it will be just 1 meter tall. We have a lot of this material. And then the pigs, when they are grown up and are let out to roam and eat acorns, they can also travel along this lane here. And later, geese and chicken. I don't see cows in this area for the time being, but when there will be cows, then we just add the electric part on top of it. And therefore we have a height that even tells a cow, do not jump over this.
Que pasa?
It appears that the vine has established itself. This is just to have a climber here and get a green fence. And yes, we do need to add a few more fence posts here, but the vine will not climb up and fill this in no time. So there's quite some time for doing this. It will be in a couple of months, but the vine will not be there until we get around to do this. But I'm very happy to see that this has taken root. You see the irrigation there. There are 2 mini sprinklers for each, and that seems to provide ample moisture. And the pond on the other side is getting lower, and I expect this to be almost gone by the end of summer, but it's okay. It is there to maintain certain moisture level in here. That should help the trees and all the other things that might establish themselves here. And keep in mind that this is supposed to become a dog enclosure. So the idea is, at some point, when we host an event and we have people here, of course a lot of infrastructure needs to be there also for that, but eventually then this is completely closed, and the dogs, whatever dogs there might be in that moment, can be here in an ample space, while, for example, for a week in the farmyard we have people who might not be comfortable with big dogs or with dogs at all. And that is the long-term idea why this exists. And at the same time, it's some sort of a habitat and a cool place, and I hope that the dogs will enjoy this once there is more shade. Currently they like to be under the house where there is shade. That is the place where they spend the summer basically. But eventually I think that they might like this here, even without the fence all around. And the idea is to get this place nice. It's not supposed to become a food forest like the other place, where I'm trying a different approach, or a more focused approach, to put it this way. This should be trees and grasses. And the grasses should also not be very tall but short, because in tall grasses all kinds of other creatures are waiting to get into the dog's skin, and we don't want this. So the Bermuda grass is pretty good for that during the summer, and then the other grasses. And speaking about, you see here quite a bit Bermuda grass, and it's encroaching. It comes forward. Initially I just seeded it over there, and now I have it here behind that sprinkler, and that wobbler a little bit further there. That used to be the line. Here was this Mongolian yurt, and now half of the space is already covered with some Bermuda grass. Denser here, less here, but it is coming. And the Pralovnia trees here, so the one there to the left is back. The other one maybe will come back. They need heat for doing this, and now that we have heat, I have my hopes up that maybe the others will also come back from below. Hopefully they do. The frost in early May killed them. And that's the risk, especially when it's about a commercial plantation. You have to be in the right place, and of course also act. And what I now know is, if they get frost damage, then you cut them. And then you either hope that they will come back from the stumps, which mostly they do, or you have to set new ones. No point in waiting. That's what I see. But then this one has come back. Yeah, that one has. And this one there also. What this is doing, I'm not so sure. But so far, most of them are lost. And if I look at this from the perspective of a commercial plantation, the few successes do not outweigh the losses. It's very important. It's a good data point. And as I do want to establish Pralovnia trees for different purposes, They, to me, are some sort of a pioneer species. And you will see how that goes. I ordered 48 additional trees. Once they arrive, I will explain more what I have in mind with those. But they are also a product, the wood. But for that, they need to come to the 40 centimeter in diameter, so that you can make boards out of them. What I also achieved today, I should mention this, you see this contraption here. So let me come to the other side and explain this. So this is the beginning of a little project. This needs to be a little bit nicer, but for now it works. So it is operational, so to put it this way. So we can have water here to the left. So there. And this provides the water for the chicken in there, and also everything that is related to the pigs. And this one is a new drip irrigation line, because we figured out that the drip irrigation that we had does not really provide the moisture in the box over there as we want it to be. So I finished this today, and now, by the way, this lemon tree is a bit struggling. It got very, very yellow, and then the leaves flew away. Those are the remaining leaves. They are less yellow than the other ones. And I did provide 2 times already a special fertilizer for lemon trees. And I hope this tree will make it. But it's already making new smaller leaves here. So that's a positive sign. And they are greener than the others used to be. So let's hope for the best. So I also installed this, and of course the potatoes look a little bit feathered and ruffled at the moment, and actually I can remove this guy here, because this one is not a potato. So now there is more moisture in here because of this other type of drip irrigation. I think the other ones got clogged because the water is not tap water that we have here. And you see it dripping there in the center of the image. And that should help with the tomatoes, because the tomatoes, of course, do need quite a bit of water. The tomato flower was a little bit bent. Of course, when you take out something and put in something new, there are a little bit disturbances. But this is working out very well. So this should now maintain a higher moisture percentage. We have a few more things to plant out. They're still in pots, and as we harvest the turnip here for breakfast, then we can add more things here. And of course there's a little bit of space here also. And we also harvested some of the garlic, and it's now hanging to dry. Actually, I need to go over there and check on this zucchini. So let me do this as well. And you might hear in the background the generator. We spent all our energy today on pumps to move water. We definitely need more solar power, and that will happen, but it's absolutely clear that that is a clear need for having more solar power. So basically, in every step when there is a new roof or another opportunity, there will be solar panels on top. They are pretty cheap in comparison to the other material. So it makes a lot more sense to just put a solar panel on top, because it maintains everything cool below. So instead of a lot of insulation, you can start with solar panels. There are some people, even in Germany, who use solar panels as fencing material. They put them vertical. And in the case of Germany, they produce a bit of power, especially during the winter. So now that we are here, you see there are some flowers that have established themselves. So we put them there a couple of days back. And you also see that in the little time between planting, the zucchini here, the Bermuda grass, has also grown. And like I said in the last video, I think I can't really go in here and aggressively continue to use the string trimmer, because I will harm the zucchini plants. But I'm only seeing the Bermuda grass mostly, so that's positive. And the Bermuda grass will not grow tall. So I'm now a little bit obsessed about the natural succession, and that means that you have plants that show up at certain points before the whole thing becomes a dense forest in this ecosystem. In North America, for example, you have vast grasslands. There will be no trees. It's a different thing. But here, everything wants to become a forest eventually. So that means, by grazing or other means, I can keep it at an earlier stage. And that's exactly what's happening here. So my thought is that the zucchini will get wide and put themselves on top of the Bermuda grass. And the Bermuda grass is not growing very tall. That's the property of the Bermuda grass. And therefore this should work. The other grasses that we have here, and they're kind of pioneer species in a Mediterranean ecosystem, they are too aggressive and they grow tall and would outshade the zucchini. So the zucchini would never had a chance. So therefore it's good that now they are dormant. And I reduced them also by aggressively cutting away. And now there's a new situation that should provide an advantage to the zucchini to stay on top, literally. So it's working out so far. And I see that the zucchini is getting taller and taller, so that's very good. And the partial shade from this tree affects a little bit the zucchini that are planted very close to it, but everything else is in direct sunlight. And these trees here, they provide the shade to the left, so not here. And these two provide the shade to there. So this is a full sunlight patch here between the trees. Of course they will become wider, then the patch gets smaller, but when they are tall, then I can prune what is below, and that way regulate how much light comes in. And of course during the winter this sheds the leaves, and then of course there is full sunlight here. And something like a winter squash, this is summer squash, might then be in their place and get light, because the trees have shed already their leaves at some point. Well, something to try out. I have some seed from last time, from the squash that was growing here all by itself, but it's the same thing that we can buy in a store. So probably somehow some seed came here, probably a bird or something like that. And we still have from this squash here. We have a few bags already, still left in the freezer. So probably that's what we will do. Now when the summer squash is done, we can then put the winter variety here in the same spot. Seems like possible. Of course, the fertilizer is then the other topic, because all these plants, every time I harvest, I take away something and I need to replenish it. But maybe the grasses become the fertilizer. I'm wondering if there is a need for mineral fertilizer. Maybe not. That would be good. I see another flower there. Yes, now you can see it also.